Hi, my name is Jessica, and I will be covering application, the therapeutic techniques and procedures of narrative therapy, as well as postmodern approaches from a multicultural perspective. The therapeutic process of narrative therapy. This therapy has no set structure that will result in a positive outcome. A narrative therapist's personal characteristics will create an environment that will result in the individual beginning to view their problem from a different viewpoint. Narrative therapists also take into consideration the client's culture. Conversational trajectories that the narrative therapist will use include questions, externalization and deconstruction, search for unique outcomes, alternative stories and reauthorizing, documenting the evidence, and group counseling. Questions in this therapy are used to discover and generate experience. Narrative therapists will not ask questions they already know the answers to so that the new views on the problem can be discovered. Questioning also helps identify cultural assumptions and to indicate to the therapist the problem's origin. Externalization and deconstruction. The narrative therapist and the individual will take apart assumptions which result in alternatives being discovered for the individual's living circumstances. Externalizing conversation aids in separating the individual from their problem, which creates space for new stories. Search for unique outcomes. Moments of choice or success with regards to their problem will be discussed in therapy. By focusing on an experience that the individual mentions that relates to the problem, yet is not part of the problem. Questions are asked with the aim of identifying moments when the individual did not experience the problem or overcame the problem successfully. Alternative stories and reauthorizing. Therapists identify possible counter stories by asking questions. This is also done to ask for openings from the individuals. The therapists help individuals to remember and create meaningful alternatives. The individuals must choose between being problem-saturated story or having an alternative news story. Presenting the evidence. Narrative therapists are of the opinion that the news stories the individual creates will only begin to be effective once the individual appreciates them. Therapeutic letter writing is where the therapist documents the therapy session. They show the progress the individual has made and emphasize that what is achieved in therapy should be applied in their lives. Application to group counseling. Group counseling creates a space where new developments in an individual's life can be appreciated. These groups are viewed as ready-made communities. Group counseling allows for new identities to be practiced by an individual. Examples of these groups are anger management and grief counseling groups, and there are many more. Postmodern approaches from a multicultural perspective. Strength from a diversity perspective. Multiple realities are stressed and that the truth is dependent on the social construction. Another strength is that the framework that is provided allows the individual to determine the impact that their problem has on their lives. The framework allows individuals to be guided in a way that is respectful for their cultural values. Gender, race, ethnicity, disability, spirituality, and religion are considered in this therapeutic technique, as well as that it is anti-individualistic. The last two strengths identified are firstly that the culture of the individuals are explored in therapy, and secondly that the individual can view their new narrative while being mindful about their cultural beliefs and values. Section we will be covering is shortcomings. The client is not the expert and the therapist's position in therapy is not one of knowledge. The therapist not being assertive as the person of knowledge, but rather enforcing the individual as the expert, could result in the individual not trusting the therapist. Thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to message us. Thank you.